There's always going to be another project. There's always going to be another client meeting. There's always people who know you, the people who stood by you. They see the long term.
This experience.
Where's Carl?
It would be believable to have such few actors. So I'm pretty sure I had like 12 and even 13 actors in my film, because that was the minimum of what I thought it needed just to be able to make the story believable. Hello. Sorry about that. My storage ran out, so I had to delete some videos and create some more space. So as I was saying, I had 12, 13 actors, and so I made sure to hire my actors, cast my actors well in advance before even the first round, because I was in the second round of shooting and there was a first round of shooting. So before the first round of people shooting even finished casting their actors, I had already cast my 12, 13 actors. I was already ready to go. I even had backup actors, as that was recommended, just in case the actors couldn't come through on the day. And so I just make sure I planned everything well in advance so that I could leave more time to plan out everything else, because I was taking on such a big venture, such a big project, a lot of intricacies. So I just made sure that I was prepared. Okay. So yeah, that was actually a labor of love, such a fun project. Of course, there was a lot of work done on the other ones, but I feel like this is the project that I spent the most time on, and definitely the most time editing. I don't think I've ever edited. No, I definitely haven't. Like, I literally spent months editing this video, and it's not because like it needed months of editing. It was because I am a new editor, and especially at that time in 2023, I was 2023, late 2023, early 2024, I was still a very new editor. And so I had so much to learn, so much to take on, and not a lot of help. So I just immersed myself, spent all the weeks I was, on Premiere Pro for full-time hours, type of putting in full-time hours on that editing to get it done. And that's just what I had to do. And I don't regret it. And, built some character. And so next was the scene study. And the scene study was fun. Actually, it was a lot of fun. And it's funny because it's like you never know how people are going to receive your project. And I just remember with that project with the scene study, I remember that I got like a few laughs, and I just remember I wasn't really expecting to be getting the laughs. But yeah, so I'll show a little clip of that project. And yeah, so the scene study. So yeah, another great project, another project that was a lot of fun to do. And also in my grad film, there was also some laughs, whereas in my scene study, I kind of knew that it was like kind of funny the way that I filmed that. But in my grad film, when people were laughing at a certain part, I was like, oh, I didn't mean to make that funny, but people still laughed. And that kind of really piqued my interest as to, writing for comedy and how to make something that's funny. Because I feel like with my group of friends, like, I'm good at making my friends laugh, and I'm good at telling stories and being really engaging with them, but I'm not really sure how to pinpoint that factor of what makes somebody laugh. I just naturally can make my friends laugh, and naturally I can tell them great stories and they love it, and it's engaging and they find it very entertaining. But when it comes to writing a script, and then translating that script into a story. I'm still trying to figure out how to write comedy, because I really want to write a comedy, maybe short film or feature film, but I want to figure out how to, you know, write for comedy, how to write something that will have people laughing the whole time and just having fun and just something really great. So I'm still working on that, but I will I will figure it out. And even if I don't figure it out on the next video, the next film that I make that's going to be a comedy, that's okay. It's all a learning process, but I'm dedicated to it, and one day I will figure out how to successfully write comedy scripts. Oh yeah, so then the last one, which wasn't the last one we shot, but the last one on the list, is the web short. So I shot my web short in Stanley Park, and I got a permit to be able to shoot in the park for the day. And I had my actors come out, my crew came out, and we walked the equipment out there, and I had a vision and I executed the vision. And looking back, I wish that I had more angles of certain shots, because I remember there was when I was editing, it was like I didn't have enough footage of certain like shots, like certain angles. And maybe, I don't know if the story was fully understood because of that, but I feel like generally the story was understood. But it would just been nice if I had more angles of certain shots. And of course, it was a learning experience because I was in film school. I'm learning, and even if you're not in film school, it's still a learning experience. But I remember that was one of the things that I remember about that web short, is that I was out there shooting, getting so much footage, but then when I edited, I was like, oh, if I only had just a little bit more of this to really show the story to the audience in the way that I had envisioned in my mind. And that's the thing. It's like you have a vision in your mind of how you want something to be, and then your job is to essentially translate that vision that you have into the story that you're telling, into that visual story that you're telling. And yeah, sometimes it can be challenging, and it's just you try your best and you learn from your past projects, and then you just try to do better and better the next time. So yeah. Another thing that I really remember about the web short was that I had a lot of problems with sound. This was a consistent problem that I had throughout the year, was getting quality sound. And having quality equipment doesn't necessarily mean that you'll get the quality sound. The quality equipment has to be in good working order. Like, we did have a lot of old sound equipment. It was like quality brands, but then some of the equipment was old, so it wasn't really functioning at its maximum capacity. And so that was one factor. But then also, it's like the way that you wire your actors. You have to make sure that the wire is in place properly. Then you have the battery. You have to make sure the battery's not running out. And then the actors have to be also clearly enunciating their dialogue as well. So I noticed that one of my biggest challenges that I had throughout my experience in film school was whenever I had to use sound and wire up my actors, I often experienced issues with sound. And it's like, on top of that, you need to have somebody working. If you have somebody working on your sound on set, they have to be passionate about sound. They can't just be holding the sound equipment and listening in. They have to actually be listening in for the sound levels and the volume levels, and making sure that they're adjusting the levels when they need to. And I'm not saying that the sound people I have did or did not do that, but I'm just saying that a number of factors that occurred while I was using my sound equipment, while I was filming my projects, led to a lot of problems. And I did not get quality sound from most of my projects, which was very frustrating, because that's what actually added to a lot of extra editing in the editing room, because I didn't have the quality sound. A lot of times I had to get ADR, and I'm pretty sure for the web short I had to get a lot of ADR, because a lot of it wasn't really working. And even in the grad film, I still had to get a lot of ADR, and trying to match the ADR to the track, it sounds like it could be something simple, like, oh, they say this and they say that, and then you just throw it in there. But it's not that easy. It's not that easy. You really have it really is like an art form. Shout out to the sound department, people who work in sound, because it's really an art form to match those lines exactly to the actor speaking. Because even if you give a video of the clip for them to say it along with it, it's still sometimes not a perfect match, and you really gotta tweak and adjust the tracks, the audio tracks, to fit in, to make sure it's smooth and has and looks believable, and can clearly and easily be heard. Another thing is, besides picture, which is really important, picture editing, which is creating the flow of the story and the pacing of the story, which is also very important. But color was very challenging as well, because I noticed, especially with my grad film, it was like the changes of color were so small. But when I showed it to one of the instructors that was teaching color, she had such a good eye for it, and she was like, oh, this is too oversaturated, this is too much, this is too little, this doesn't match enough. And it's like I really had to pinpoint and go down to like the little grain and little, like, it was just very tedious and time consuming to do the color. And so that was that was something that also added a lot of time to my editing, which was doing the color as well. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed making that web short. It was a lot of fun, and it to me it was unique and different, and I was trying something new. And I don't know how it resonated with the audience of my fellow cohort that watched it, or the instructor that watched it, but I enjoyed it. And you know what? Sometimes I think that's kind of what's most important is like, if you're making something, make something that you're passionate about. Don't feel the pressure to make something for what you think other people would want. Make something that you are passionate about, and make something intentional that you feel is an important story that needs to be told. Whether it's comedy, whether it's drama, whether it's horror, whether it's a sci-fi, whatever you want to make what you want to make. Just try your best to make it quality. Try your best to improve your skill set every time, and have fun with it. Because if you're not having fun with it, then what's the point? And every project that I worked on, it's like I didn't really care whether people really loved it or not. What I cared was did I give my best work? Like, did I give my best on it? Did I work my hardest? And was it something intentional? Was it something that had meaning, something that had a purpose? And then, did I learn anything along the way? Was there things that I could improve on? Because there's always something you can improve on. And that's what I really learned throughout the program. Was I was able to upgrade my skill sets. I was able to express myself creatively, and I was able to upgrade my technical skills as well. And I also discovered things that I didn't know about, like production design. I got really into production design. I was always into art, but I discovered the whole art department, and that was something that I took on as one of the things that I do in film as well. Besides producing, directing, writing, production design came in the picture as well. So that was kind of towards the end though. So I incorporated it into my grad film, but it wasn't incorporated into some of the other projects because we hadn't taken that class yet. So we hadn't quite learned on how to, incorporate art department into your projects. But as you can probably see in some of the earlier projects, which is not really in order, but you can kind of get an idea of which ones were like shot in the classroom at school and, didn't really have any art in it. And it was just kind of like in a plain room kind of thing. But overall, it was so much fun. And it was so much fun because I was able to fully immerse myself in these projects. And I truly upgraded my skills and learned a lot. And I was able to use some of these skills with my YouTube and editing some of my YouTube videos. And it's interesting because I haven't really spent crazy amounts of time editing my YouTube videos, because I like to put out a lot of content. And then there's some videos that I will spend more time on, and then some I'll just do like a basic edit. But as time goes on, I get a little bit faster at editing, and that's really helpful as well. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video today. I would love for you to drop in the comments any comments you have about any of the projects I worked on, or if you're working on a film project right now, I'd love to hear about it as well. Please drop it in the comments below. Please feel free to give me a like and also subscribe, please, if you have not already subscribed. Lots of great content coming out, lots of diverse content. And you know, they say have a niche. It's like I have a niche, but like also I like to keep it open. I don't want to box myself to one thing. So yeah, I have a lot of great content I'm looking forward to sharing with you all. So stay tuned on this journey and look out for more content. Turn on your notifications if you want to be notified, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.